What is the goal of political Islam?
Well, Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, said, Islam must dominate and not be dominated. And in every Sharia state that is on earth today and has ever been on earth, non-Muslims have not had equality of rights with Muslims in the society. The idea is to enforce a subservient position for them so that they know the pain in this world as well as the next of having rejected Muhammad, which the Quran says that they will suffer. Women, beating women from whom you fear disobedience. The Quran contains nothing about beating disobedient men.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for holding this hearing and for very boldly and clearly speaking about this. This is an issue that I hear all the time from my constituents in North Texas who are concerned about the rise of radical Islam in Texas, and I want to thank the witnesses for being here as well. Got a few questions, and I want to start with you, Mr. Soman. Can you tell me what percentage of U.S. Muslims believe that Sharia law should be implemented in the United States?
So I'm not aware of survey data on that specific question. However,
well, I can tell you it's 39%. 39% of Muslims in the United States want Sharia law implemented in the next 20 years. Do you know what percentage of Muslims in the United States support the formation of a Muslim political party?
Again, I'm not familiar with survey data on that particular question.
Number is 46%. Do a couple more. Do you know what percentage of Muslims in the United States support making it illegal to show a picture of the cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad?
So as with the other questions, a lot depends on the wording and the sample, and I would want to see the details
50%,
of the methodology here.
That's a lot. Let's do one more. Do you know what percentage of Muslims in the United States believe that Islam should be declared as our national religion?
Once again, I would want to look at the methodology of the survey, the questions.
33%. This is from a survey conducted by the Heritage Foundation in 2024. In September of 2024, it was published on October 6th, 2024. I got two more for you. Do you know what percentage of American Muslims believe that Israel does not have a right to exist as a Jewish homeland?
I don't know that one either, but if it's from a survey by the Heritage Foundation,
it's
they are known for their bad
43%.
methodology.
You're happy, you can declare that statistics you don't like aren't true, but that's not how I'm going to operate here. We got one more. Do you know what percentage of Muslims in the United States say that Jewish people have too much power in government policy?
Once again, I would refer you back to my previous answer.
57%. Do those facts concern you?
I would want to see the nature of the survey, and I would also know the Heritage
Foundation. I'm just asking if those statistics concern you.
If they were accurate, they would be a matter of concern, but I would want to see.
They are accurate, and I think that they are a matter of concern, and I think most Americans agree with me there. Mr. Spencer, I'm going to move on to you. Let me ask you, is Islam as a political ideology, in your opinion, compatible with America's constitutional governing framework?
Oh, no, certainly not. It denies the freedom of speech, denies the equality of rights of non-Muslims with Muslims, the equality of rights of women with men, and contradicts U.S. law in numerous other particulars.
And can you tell me, what is the goal of political Islam?
Well, Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, said, Islam must dominate and not be dominated. And in every Sharia state that is on earth today and has ever been on earth, non-Muslims have not had equality of rights with Muslims in the society. The idea is to enforce a subservient position for them so that they know the pain in this world as well as the next of having rejected Muhammad, which the Quran says that they will suffer.
Under Islamic law, as it's commonly practiced, are men and women treated with equal dignity?
No, certainly not. I quoted before the passage about women beating women from whom you fear disobedience. The Quran contains nothing about beating disobedient men.
Ms. Child, I've got a few questions for you. Can you explain to us very, very briefly, what is Epic City?
Oh, yes.
Do you mind turning your microphone on?
Yeah, so to understand how Sharia relates to Epic City, you don't have to look any further than Imam Yasir Qadhi of Epic. He's the chairman of the Fiqh Council on North America, the group that tells Muslims in the U.S. how to apply Sharia.
And do you know who's funding Epic City?
Yes, just one moment. I have some information on funding. And when you ask where the money and infrastructure for Epic City are coming from, when Epic City was first marketed, they actively solicited investors, including foreign investors. So that fundraising model is now under serious legal scrutiny with Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. He sued East Plano Islamic Center, its development arm, Community Capital Partners, alleging violations of Texas security laws and how funds were raised and managed. And this isn't isolated.
Thank you, and my time is up, so I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The ranking member.
Thank you. I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record an article published by the Cato Institute on October 26, 2025, written by Mustafa Akil, titled "No Sharia Law is Coming to Texas."
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record an article published by Politico on January 26, 2026, written by Liz Crampton and Jessica Piper, titled "Republicans Go All In on Sharia Law Attacks Ahead of Texas Primary."
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record an article written by J. David Goodman, published in the New York Times on February 10th, 2026. Without a border invasion, Texas GOP turns to an old enemy, Islam.
Without objection.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, too, I've got one too.
Ranking member.
This is from the Pew Research Center. 45% of Americans say the United States should be a Christian nation.
Without objection. I'll now recognize myself for such time as I shall consume. Ms. Shield, let me ask you a quick question, and just try to go through these pretty quickly, right? Just a few things with respect to Texas, my friend Mr. Gill was just talking about. Is it true that north of Austin, including there's a big center in West Campus of the University of Texas, including other places? In other words, it's not just located just Epic City, is that correct?
That's correct.
So
All over the
I'm also talked to a number of people, particularly in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, women in particular, who will tell me that there are enclaves and areas throughout the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex where they do not go, where there are women, Texans, who say that because they are in areas that have a high concentration of Muslim men, and because of the nature of what's going on in those areas, that there are now, quote, no-go zones in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I've heard that from multiple people in multiple places throughout that area, correct?
Correct.
And Mr. Spencer, and I'd look to you on this question here. I heard my colleagues on the other side of the aisle who were raising objection to legislation that, and a number of bills that some of us introduced, particularly one that I introduced, that was raising the issue of vetting individuals as we're bringing them into the United States for their adherence to Sharia law. That was the idea. The idea is that Sharia law is inconsistent with our values in Western civilization, so we should know if we're bringing people into the country that may want to advance a system of law or systems that are contrary to our laws. Here's my question. In doing so, my colleagues acknowledged and said that that would mean that Muslims generally would be in fear of deportation or inability to be brought into the country. Does that not suggest that there's a recognition that Sharia law is central to most of the Muslim population throughout the world and those that come to the United States?
It would seem as if they're aware of that, yes.
And is that true? Is
Yes.
Sharia law central to most Muslims throughout the world?
Absolutely. Sharia is considered divine law, and thus it takes precedence over all other legal systems. In areas of the Muslim world where it is not fully implemented, such as Egypt or Syria, other countries, it still has a tremendous cultural influence, such that elements of it are often enforced by individuals or groups where the government doesn't do so.
And is it not true also that there are some 50-plus countries throughout the world in which Sharia is either entirely the law or central to the law in a mixture of its religious implementation, but also its civil?
Yes, that's right. There are 57 members of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, 56 nations, and the Palestinian Authority.
Is it also not true that when we're talking about the advance of the Islam population, or the population of Muslims that adhere to Islam in this country, that it is not also true that there is significant funding by groups and organizations to push that, including Sharia, into the United States?
Oh, there's no doubt whatsoever.